All right, let us do some sexual follies. So I'm sure I have spoken before about my most sexist theory, this theory I have that is most sexist and offensive, and I'll give it to you again. But before I do, let's just play a little bit. At the end of the Golden Globe Awards, Oprah got up and gave this presidential speech and this ringing thing, little girls of America unite, you have nothing to lose but your skirts. I don't know what, whatever she was saying. It's like a new day is dawning. Here is some of the crazy reaction to that on the news afterwards.
Never seen this show of solidarity from a group of women and the men who support them and encourage them. It's extraordinary. And then Oprah's speech just was like the apex.
She gave a masterclass in oratory that brought Hollywood to its feet and the status quo to its knees.
And when that new day finally dawns, it will be because of a lot of magnificent women, many of whom are right here in this room tonight, and some pretty phenomenal men fighting hard to make sure that they become the leaders who take us to the time when nobody ever has to say, "Me too," again. Thank you.
It was very powerful. It was very impactful. There's no one else who does Oprah like Oprah.
Oprah is the greatest communicator in television of the last 50 years. It's one of the many things that Hollywood admires her for. They recognize that Oprah is the best storyteller of her generation. And where that comes from is this phenomenal ability to communicate, this amazing capacity for empathy and for displaying it on television.
So they're pushing her as the presidential candidate. Here's, just to give you the other side, here's Trump's reaction when he heard about this.
Thank you. Yeah, Albedo. Oprah would be a lot of fun. I know her very well. You know, I did one of her last shows. She had Donald Trump, this is before politics, her last week. And she had Donald Trump, and my family was very nice. No, I like Oprah. I don't think she's going to run. I don't think she's going to run. I know her very well.
I don't think she's going to run either, by the way. And one of the reasons is because Donald Trump is a street fighter and a mudslinger, and Oprah's whole persona is being a saint. And the minute since nobody's a saint, the minute any truth comes out about her, it's going to bring her down to earth very hard. I don't think she's going to do it either. Here's my evil sexist theory. Okay, my evil sexist theory is this: when a industry that is run by men and ruled by men starts to be taken over by women, it is because the industry is over. That aspect of the industry is over. That is not because women bring it down. It is because the men create the industry. Men go off and they do new things. They take risks that women don't take. They invent stuff. They come up with fresh ideas. And then the women say, well, why don't we have that? But by the time you say, why don't we have that, the industry is over. So if you notice that, like, there were no female anchor women until anchor men became obsolete. Who cares what an anchor man says now, right? That used to be a big position. When back in the day of Walter Cronkite, that was a big authoritative position. By the time women came in and started to be women, anchor women, nobody cared what they say. So now they're saying they're going to be women directors. They're going to be women directors in the movies. And have you noticed? Movies are irrelevant. Movies are irrelevant. It's really very simple. If you're listening, and obviously when I make these generalizations, they're generalizations. They're exceptions to the rule. That doesn't change the generalization being true. If you're listening to two 12-year-olds and one of them says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to undo all these cardboard boxes. I'm going to build a ramp, and then I'm going to skateboard down this ramp and take off and fly to the moon. Are you listening to a girl or a boy? You're listening to a boy, because only a boy is stupid enough to do something that obviously is going to break every bone in his body, right? But that is the way that you invent industries. That's the way you invent video games. That's the way you invent movies. That's the way you invent TV. So that's the way you invent Silicon Valley. So by the time women come along and start to say, you know, we want a part of this, demanding a part of it, not just building stuff, not just making stuff, but demanding a part of it, they're being given something politically. They're being given something. They're not earning it. They're not taking it away. And that means that industry is so big and has become so irrelevant, essentially, to the actual product that it makes has become irrelevant. It can afford to give stuff away. It can afford to say, okay, you can have a job too. You can have a job too. So when you're watching the movies and you start to hear about the new female directors, just also pay attention to the box office, because nobody goes to see these movies anymore. The only movies they go to see are superhero movies. Those are the only tentpole movies make money at this point. The movie industry is over. Television, streaming is everything. Soon, even that will be over, and it will be individual guys making stuff on YouTube and putting stuff out on apps and things like that. It's going to be a much more democratized process. There will be new technologies. Those will be invented by, governed by men. And when you hear women say we deserve a place at the table, it'll be because those industries are over. Most sexist theory I have, and should get me any place else, that would get me taken off the air. Thank God I'm at the Daily Wire, where we are just evil. The mailbag is tomorrow. The mailbag is tomorrow. Go on to thedailywire.com. Subscribe. Support the evil. Support the evil. You know you want to. Support the evil at thedailywire.com. Subscribe. Hit the podcast button. Hit my podcast. Send in your questions. The answers are guaranteed 100% correct and will change your life on occasion for the better. I'm Andrew Klavan. This is The Andrew Klavan Show. The Andrew Klavan Show is produced by Robert Sterling, executive producer Jeremy Boring, senior producer Jonathan Hay. Our supervising producer is Mathis Glover. Technical producer Austin Stevens. Edited by Alex Zingaro. Audio is mixed by Mike Cormina. Hair and makeup is by Jesua Olvera. And our animations are by Cynthia Angulo and Jacob Jackson. The Andrew Klavan Show is a Daily Wire Forward Publishing production. Copyright Forward Publishing 2017.